Caitlin Clark's passing ability is on another level. The Atlanta Dream, this defender is going to switch over the top. Look at this Atlanta Dream defender trying to get her hands in the way in a steal right here. Look at Caitlin Clark. The only way this pass is going to get home is if I perfectly lead Aaliyah Boston into the paint. Look at that. Defender's got her hands right there, but you perfectly let her into the paint. Now it's just catch, go up. You missed the first, but there's no one to box out, and it's two. Caitlin Clark is the singular only reason why the Indiana Fever are not the worst team in the WNBA. Look at this little bump right here. Look at how she forces the defender to have to go underneath the handoff right here. Look at that little bump. That's going to move the defender backwards. Look at right there. That little bump right there forces the defender now to have to go under, and I think you know what happens from there. Open triple. This pass into the paint right here is insane. First of all, she comes off a screen. Defender's late getting over the top. So a pump fake gets the defender leaving her feet right here. So now she's going to come off a handoff. She does not have the angle to get this pass over the top to Aaliyah Boston. The only way I'm going to get this pass over is if I get behind my back, no look. Look at that. Now I can get that pass down low. I mean, perfectly leading her. Aaliyah Boston misses the layup, but that pass is sick. Caitlin Clark is just lethal out of the pick and roll right here. Look at this little in and out dribble. The Dreamer in drop coverage. So I'm going to snake like I'm going to the middle of the floor right here. Look at in and out dribble. That gets the big leaning towards the middle of the floor. Boom. Now I've got her leaning one way, in and out dribble back the other way, and then the tough floater in the lane. Caitlin Clark's passing ability is just next level. Look at Kelsey Mitchell's coming off a stagger screen right here. Look at her perfectly lead her coming off this stagger screen so the defender has to chase from over the top and it leads to an open jumper. Look at this bounce pass right there. Look at how she leads her right towards the corner. So now that defender has to chase from over the top, perfectly leading her into open space and an open jumper +1. In transition here, you have to box out Caitlin Clark. Look at a miss on a deep three right here. But this defender, when she leaves her feet, doesn't come back in the play to box out. You're trying to leak out and transition early. Well, one problem. If Indiana gets this ball back, you're out of the play, and now Caitlin Clark's got another one that's 6 steps from the three-point line in a triple. Everything is a fast break with Caitlin Clark. The Atlanta Dream just scored. Indiana's inbounding the ball from underneath the basket right here. Look at Caitlin Clark, though. Get this right here. This defender, ever so slightly, is going to lean up towards the ball, not take that Indiana Fever player running the floor right here. So you step up towards the ball. Look at Caitlin Clark. Head up, pushing the pace. Look at that. Perfect pass, leading her right to the rim. You got to finish this layup, but that's off a make. To get an easy layup off that is unbelievable. The playmaking ability. This is coming off the pick and roll right here. Look at Caitlin Clark. First of all, get downhill, force this defender to have to step up in the gap, but it's the timing on the pass. Look at, as soon as she sees this defender leaning towards Caitlin Clark right here, soon as she sees that defender leaning towards her, that's when that pass gets made to the corner. If you wait, if you let that Atlanta Dream player get her feet set, she's going to be able to recover. But perfectly as she's leaning towards Caitlin Clark, pass made to the corner, and that's the difference between it being an open three. You just simply cannot botch these switches. Look at this Atlanta Dream defender right here calling out a switch in the middle of the play. If this Atlanta Dream player is even a half second late to switch, you know what happens. You're coming off a down screen, a second late to switch. Look at how deep that is. Triple. This is just Caitlin Clark's ability to take advantage of her range from deep. She's going to come off a screen. This defender's got to fight over the top of the screen right here. So Caitlin Clark again's got the angle to get downhill. The defender's leaning towards the paint right here. So now we're going to dribble between our legs on a step back. Now the defender's got to step up. She's going to come uphill. Look at as this defender is threatened by the three-point attempt. She's going to come uphill. As that's happening, Caitlin Clark's going to immediately come downhill. Look at that, uphill. Caitlin Clark now can just blow by her downhill, and that's a 2-shot foul. This assist is just insane right here. Again, the only way Caitlin Clark, the Dreamer in drop coverage right here. So if Caitlin Clark picks her dribble up, the only way she's going to be able to get this back to the girl popping off this pick and pop is if it's a no-look behind the back pass. If she has to pick up her dribble and then pass it over her shoulder, she's going to be able to recover right here on this drop coverage. But instead, look at Caitlin Clark right there. Look at behind the back, no-look pass. That gets the defender leaning even more into the paint, and now that's just practice shot. Caitlin Clark does not need much space to get into this crossover right here. Again, the Atlanta Dream are about a half second late to switch. So that gives Caitlin Clark the angle to get downhill into the paint. So now this defender, as she's leaning towards the paint right here, again, she's got the angle. She was ever so late to switch. As she's leaning towards the paint, Caitlin Clark, look at that little dribble behind the back, put the defender on skates and a lay-in. Same exact thing. This is now on a step back jumper right here. Kelsey Mitchell's going to fake like she's setting a screen and slip it right here. So what does that do? That gets the defender having to lean uphill to avoid what she thinks a screen right here. So as she's coming uphill, Caitlin Clark's going to get downhill. And again, ever so slightly now she has the defender off balance and has the angle to get to the paint right here. So with the defender off balance, again, just dribble backwards, step back three. This is just Caitlin Clark's entire game put on display right here. Look at her slowly lean towards the middle of the floor. That gets the defender leaning towards the middle of the floor. Look at that. Slowly with that in and out dribble towards the middle of the floor, only to cross it back into the paint. So that's going to freeze this defender right here. She's got to step up now and help. So now Caitlin Clark notices the double team. So who's going to be wide open here? It's Kelsey Mitchell. Look at that perfect cross-court pass and an open three. Caitlin Clark out of the pick and roll is just unbelievable. The Dream are going to blitz Caitlin Clark right here and play up on the screen right here. So you got a backside defender right here. Again, there's such a small window to make this pass to the roll right here. Look at Caitlin Clark. I got to perfectly lead her towards the paint so that backside defender doesn't get a steal right here. Look at this perfect pass leading her towards the paint right to the rim. And I mean, you just got to finish. If you run the floor in transition, Caitlin Clark will find you. This is directly off a miss right here. So this Indiana Fever player is immediately going to be sprinting. That Atlanta Dream player is going to be jogging ever so slightly. So once Caitlin Clark gets this pass, her head is always up the floor. Look at what's going on right here. Jogging, sprinting. Caitlin Clark's going to find you every single time. Look at this pass, perfectly leading her over the top right here. That is just a beeline of a pass. And again, you got to finish the layup, but that pass is unbelievable. This is the most insane pass of the night right here. Caitlin Clark comes off a handoff right here. This Atlanta Dream player switching over the top. Look at the small window she has to fit this pass through. Look at this. Defender switches over the top right here. So right now, the defender, I got a small angle right there to fit this over the top of that defender, and then I have a defender in the gaps. Look at her thread the needle perfectly right there. Right back door, and now you get an and one. That is incredible.